Hello everyone, it's Charlton. Please subscribe to my channel, tap the notification bell. I'd appreciate it majorly. Alright, so this is really, there's so much different information here and it just goes on and all these different directions, so many different tentacles. I'm just reviewing, the missing persons case, the missing kids in Idaho, JJ, Joshua Vallow, and Tylee Ryan, who remain missing, as well as the parents are unaccounted for. And the authorities, don't know their whereabouts either. Laurie Vallow is the mother, and stepdad, Chad Vallow, who recently married and actually married after, his wife had just died 2 weeks or so prior. And I don't necessarily want to review every last thing other than some of the newest stuff, and also go over some of the things that just don't add up to me. And I do continue to work under a different theory, and I still kind of believe the theory I've been working under, which is, I think, different than most. And I had this idea that this was about life insurance and collecting on life insurance. For persons who maybe potentially were already terminally ill, and that's was being concealed, and so you're staging these other deaths to basically avoid that and still collect it. That was kind of my idea that I was working under, and I have no idea. It's just theoretical. I have no idea, and it's just questions that I'm asking. So very easily it could be not true. I just don't know. So, but based on the number of persons that have basically died surrounding some of the individuals involved, Laurie Vallow. I mean, it's her. She's had two husbands that died recently in the last 2 years, which some of that even doesn't necessarily add up to me. And I don't even know if it's accurate. That's part of the problem, is there's so many different reports out there, and I think some of it's being told by friends in the community, or the various family members are giving their version of events, and so it's not all clear if everything is accurate. But one of her previous husbands died in I think April of 2018 in Arizona somewhere. I believe Gilbert, Arizona. That's Joseph Anthony Ryan. As well as her most recent husband before Chad Daybell, which is Charles Vallow, who died just this past summer, July 11th, who was shot by her brother, Alex Cox, reportedly in self-defense. I don't need to review everything. So, but the latest, so that my theory was the life insurance thing. I think a lot of people, or some people, are working, under the theory of sort of this Black Widow theory. In fact, Charles Vallow's sister, Kay Vallow, she pretty much flat out says it, that she thinks she's a Black Widow, and that she's marrying husbands, and then the husbands are dying under suspicious circumstances, and then moving on to the next husband, kind of thing. That's sort of the Black Widow concept. But I don't believe that. I think I don't think it's murder. I don't. And I think the kids are still alive. I just think this is about insurance, life insurance. So partly because you have different persons involved in different states and different areas. For one person to be be a suspect, in the deaths of each of these persons, they'd have to be moving from state to state. Alex Cox just died. Alex Cox, which is Laurie Vallow's brother, who admitted killing Charles Vallow, but in self-defense, he supposedly hit Charles Vallow. Charles Vallow supposedly hit him with a baseball bat, and then he got a gun, and then Charles Vallow, I think, came at him again or something like that, and he shot him twice in the chest. But he lives in Arizona somewhere. I think Chandler, Arizona. Laurie Vallow and Chad Daybell had been living in Rexburg, Idaho. I don't exactly know how far those two are apart, but I'm just saying that's part of the reason that I came up with this life insurance angle, instead of just it being flat out murder and that somebody's killing all these people. Obviously both of those could be completely wrong. But the latest article over at the Daily Mail is that, and this reporter spoke with the sheriff of the Fremont County Sheriff's Office, one of the police authorities that's investigating this, along with Rexburg Police Department and the FBI, is looking into the suspicious death of Tammy Daybell, as well as the two missing kids. And they had just searched Chad Daybell's home on Friday, and there's an abbreviated list of the items that were taken out of there. We'll quickly take a look at that. But according to Martin Gold from Daily Mail, he's in St. Anthony, Idaho, which is the county seat of Fremont County, where the sheriff's office is. And he spoke with, either over the phone or in person, with Len Humphreys, the sheriff. And Len Humphreys says that they're looking for poison in as it relates to Tammy Daybell's, autopsy after her body was exhumed on December 11th. And they're doing tests and performing an autopsy to determine an actual cause of death, and to see if it really wasn't natural causes, but something else. But one of the things they're looking for is poison. But even that, in my opinion, still works with my theory that, it could have been, she could have been poisoned, but, it could have been sort of basically along with pain medication, self-induced, and and just a way to collect on the life insurance without to collect on the life insurance. Part of I'll read through and it's very quickly. It's just a few statements from the sheriff, Len Humphreys. But some of the things that lead me down the path of my theory is that all these suspicious circumstances that are reported prior to these deaths. It's almost like, like if you were planning to kill somebody, you wouldn't do these things beforehand that basically make it look like, you're about to kill this person. Whether it's the paintball gun, incident that supposedly happened a week or so before Tammy Daybell died, as well as there's a report that Chad Daybell supposedly had, because he's very into, the Latter-day Saints, like prophet, end of times, end of the world stuff, and predicting the future. And he supposedly had predicted, or that he had said to a friend or somebody in the community that Tammy Daybell was going to die, and that he saw that in a dream or something like that. I don't remember exactly. But why would you say that, if you were then, that implicates you as a suspect if she ended up dying, totally. So why would you do that? You wouldn't do that if you were planning to kill somebody. And these are just a number of different things that lead me to believe that it's not murder, and maybe it's nothing, and it's totally innocent, but it's what I said, So let me quickly go through, and there's, it's just not totally clear about Laurie Vallow's previous husbands, Charles Vallow and Joseph Anthony Ryan, exactly when she was married to those persons. Supposedly, Joseph Anthony Ryan died in 2018, I believe April 2018, in Arizona. I believe Gilbert, Arizona. But I'm not absolutely certain that Laurie Vallow was married to him at the time. It's just not specified. And, it is. She was married to Charles Vallow, I don't know when exactly, to be honest with you. I know he was killed on July 11th, 2019. That was just this past summer. He had filed for divorce in February. There's court documents in February and January of 2019. So basically, you're talking about April 2018 for Joseph Anthony Ryan, and Charles Vallow is filing for divorce in February of 2019, or he's filing papers. I believe they were estranged, but I believe he was still married to Laurie Vallow, which again, I think, I don't know. The life insurance thing, I think will require that maybe. Anyways, I'll get to some of those questions, but it's possible she just wasn't married to Joseph Anthony Ryan when he died in 2018. His body was supposedly cremated, if that's in fact even accurate. But according to this article, it says police are investigating the disappearance of two Idaho children. Believe police investigating the disappearance of two Idaho children believe the first wife of their mother's new husband may have been poisoned. DailyMail.com can reveal. But tests on the exhumed body of fitness fan Tammy Daybell won't be completed for at least another 2 weeks. Fremont County Sheriff Len Humphreys said. I mean, they characterize her as fitness fan, and so according to friends in the community or somebody they spoke to, she was training for a 5K run weeks or days before she died. We're looking for poison. Quote, we're looking for poison, but we are just having to wait for lab results, Humphreys said in an exclusive interview with DailyMail.com. You could say we are in a sort of holding pattern right now. Daybell died on October 19th, age 49. She was in training for a 5K run to be held a few days after her death, one friend told DailyMail.com. She was into healthy living, very fit. Then all of a sudden, we hear she has died. The friend said, it didn't make sense then and it doesn't make sense now. So if I could stop there before I go on to just a few more, a number of different things that I'll show you as quickly as possible. I mean, one of the things, actually I'll play it for you. They were searching Chad Daybell's house on Friday. And in this report, this reporter, Eric Grossarth, from East Idaho News. In my opinion, East Idaho News has been done the best reporting on this by far, and they're there, and he's done a considerable amount. And he was out front of Chad Daybell's home. This is the day, Friday, where they were searching it. But he indicates here that Len Humphreys, the Fremont County sheriff, had told him that in the course of this investigation, one of Chad Daybell's sons moved into this home, and he wasn't living there previously, and that he wasn't cooperating, that doesn't necessarily mean one thing or another, but, it stands out to me. And what my question is if the kids even remotely suspected that their mother was killed or died suspiciously, why would they not be cooperating? And that's just, again, it's just another thing that sort of makes me believe that, that it wasn't murder. And so I just want to play that for you so you hear it for yourself. But if you thought your mother was murdered, you would fully be cooperating. On the other hand, could be suspecting your father. So still, it's your mother. You would be cooperating, you would think. But I don't know.
Going inside of the home. Now, last week, Fremont County Sheriff Len Humphreys told me that in the course of this investigation, Chad Daybell's son moved into the house but was not cooperating with investigators. It remains unclear, again, what they are searching for in this house, other than it is most likely...
Okay, so, and somewhere in the course of this article here, it says that the authorities in Arizona contacted either the Fremont County Sheriff's Office or the Rexburg Police Department to indicate to them that not everything is what it seemed. Fremont County Sheriff, that's him right there, Len Humphreys, said he believed Daybell and Vallow have left Idaho but are still in the United States. From an investigation point of view, this is a disaster, Humphreys said in his office in St. Anthony, Fremont's county seat. What kind of parent doesn't help try to find their own kids when they are missing? Cops fear the youngsters are dead, but Daybell, 51, and Vallow, 46, are refusing to cooperate with the hunt. Vallow had taken JJ out of school, and authorities were unaware they were missing until his worried grandmother called them saying she could not contact him. Fremont County Coroner Brenda Dye originally ruled that Tammy Daybell had died of natural causes, but after suspicions were raised, she asked a judge in Utah to have her body exhumed from its grave in Evergreen Cemetery in Springville, Utah, where Chad had once worked. The body was dug up on December 11th, and now a coroner in Utah is performing tests. Humphreys revealed that police in Arizona alerted his department that things may not be as they seemed. In his 12 years as sheriff, he said he had never had any contact with Chad Daybell. Then, about 10 days prior to her death, we got a call that a guy in a mask was firing paintballs at their house. By the time we responded, of course, there was no one there. The feeling was it was all a prank. At the time, Tammy Daybell wrote on Facebook, "Something really weird just happened. I had gotten home and parked in our front driveway. As I was getting stuff out of the back seat, a guy wearing a ski mask was suddenly standing by the back of my car with a paintball gun. He shot at me several times, although I don't think it was loaded. I yelled for Chad, and he ran off around the back of the house." There's actually that post. I think it's right there, but it won't come up right now. It is. And the wording's a little bit different. We don't have to go over that. So, but, I mean, again, if you were planning to kill somebody, why would you do these things beforehand that make it look ultra suspicious? And to me, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense, And then the husband's reportedly prophesizing that his wife was going to die, It just, whether or not that's a true account, again, these things are being told by friends in the community, and maybe that never even happened. And maybe he never even prophesized that. I don't know. This is CJ, I don't know his name. This is Laurie Vallow's oldest son. And here he's actually most recent video. This is only from yesterday. Today the 6th or the 7th. It's the 6th. It's from yesterday. And he's basically, pleading with his mom, Laurie Vallow, to end this. And, and he's just sort of a heartfelt talking to his mom to make this all stop. Bring JJ and Tali home, or just do a FaceTime. Let the authorities know that they're okay, and basically start moving towards a resolution. And again, to me, I just do not get the sense that this woman, he just thinks his mom is a murderer. And I just don't think this is murder, And it's maybe neither. It may be neither. Not what I'm saying. Not murder. It's not some kind of life insurance grab or any of that. It's neither. But that's what this is here. Moving right along. The other thing that I just wanted to. I mean, this is. Kay Vallow, Woodstock, and her husband, I forget his name. And that is Charles Vallow's sister, okay? And in this article it says, they're the grandparents of JJ, the biological grandparents of JJ, of Joshua Vallow. So basically, it's one of her kids, and I don't understand exactly why Charles and Laurie, primarily Charles probably before he married Laurie, adopted one of her kids. I mean, it could be anything. I mean, it could be her kids passed away or whatever. Who knows? But that's one of the other things. But in this interview, she explains knowing Laurie Vallow for years. So I mean, that's what led me to ask the question of whether or not Laurie Vallow was married to Joseph Anthony Ryan, in 2018 when he died. But she actually talks about Laurie Vallow talking about Joseph Anthony Ryan's death, and that he was a bad person, and that basically, it's that Joseph Anthony Ryan, according to Kay Vallow, she's saying that Laurie Vallow said, Joseph Anthony Ryan was a bad person, so, it's not a bad thing that he was dead, or something like that. And that she also, I'll play these quickly and then just pretty much wrap this up. But, she also says that Laurie Vallow said that Charles was her fourth husband. So, if that's true, Chad Daybell would be her fifth. But again, it's just the timing of, Joseph Anthony Ryan dying in 2018, April 2018, and then Charles Vallow is filing for divorce in February of 2019. So when did she marry Charles and it was no longer married to Joseph Anthony Ryan? It's still possible that, that can work out, but I don't know. It's hard to add it all up, man. But I don't think it's murder, personally. I could be wrong. I could be making a fool of myself.
During that conversation, she was telling me about Joe being dead, Tyler's dad. God took him, and it's just as well because he was an evil, evil person. So you're on number 4, and you're 32 years old?
Laurie Vallow was married to Kay's brother, Charles Vallow, until July 11th, when Laurie's brother shot and killed Charles in Chandler, Arizona.
But if it's true that Joseph Anthony Ryan died in April of 2018, that means she married Charles Vallow after that, okay? And he's filing for divorce in February 2019, basically months later, less than a year later. But she's saying she knew, Kay Vallow, Charles's brother, is saying she knew Laurie Vallow for years. So it just doesn't fully add up to me. And that's pretty much the story there. It's a lot, and it's actually, you know what? Before I go, on this guy's Twitter feed, he has a fair amount of here because there's other court documents in his divorce filings. But I think he remained married. I don't think the divorce was final. I do not. I'm not positive of that, but I don't think he was officially divorced from her. He was estranged, I think. Yeah, which means estranged means they're still married, right? And there's, it's calling into question her mental illness, and there's all sorts of crazy stuff that he basically accuses her of, thinking she's, been alive in previous history, times in history, and that she's ordained by God to do something, and the end of time is coming in July 2020, something like that. But one of the other things in here is what was retrieved during the in the warrant search at Chad Daybell's home on Friday, and one of it was medications. So on Friday, January 3rd, detectives from Fremont County Sheriff's Office who were assisted by officers from Rexburg Police Department and FBI served a search warrant on Chad Daybell's residence in Fremont County. The search took most of the day, with the home being released back to Chad's sons, Seth and Garth Daybell, who are currently living in the house. As a result of the search, 43 items were removed from the residence. This included electronic devices such as computers and cell phones, journals, documents, and medications. These items will be further examined by forensic experts. It is expected that the results of the examinations will not be available for several weeks. We ask anyone who may have information that they think is relevant to the investigation, to please call Fremont County Sheriff's Office 208-624-4482. Super quick before I go. Just curious. I mean, estranged means no longer living with, but you're still married. And that's the story there. All right, man. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below. I'll see you in the next video. Later, man.